right, welcome back. So this is another code.org activity. This happens to be a challenge activity for lesson 17 mouse input. This is called mouse did move. So if we look here, we have a salt shaker that is we're going to modify this so that it moves. Because currently, when we run it, we just have the salt shaker. So let's go ahead and take a look at the directions here. It says we can also use Boolean expressions to check whether or not the mouse has moved. The mouse did move block will return false if the mouse is still, but true if the mouse has been moving. So what we really want to do is if the mouse isn't moving there on the screen, it's going to sit still. Then we move our mouse, the salt shaker is going to reflect that and going to be moving. So we're going to need to add a conditional right here as it says. And then we need to add a conditional that checks if the mouse is moved, and if the conditional is true, rotate the salt sprite randomly to the left or the right. So that's kind of how we're going to do that. I'm going to make it look like it's moving when actually it's just rotating a little bit. And then the extra challenge is, can you keep track of how many times the mouse shakes the salt and then rotate it side up after 100 shakes? Okay, so we need two different conditionals. We need two ifs. The first if that we need is, we're going to drag this out here, is this is going to be our mouse did move. So let's go here to mouse did move, drag that in. And then what we want to do is change the rotation as it said there. So let's go ahead and drag the rotation block in here. Now the thing we're going to do with the rotation is we don't want it to add or subtract or anything like that. What we want to do is just kind of have it be a random number. So to randomly move that rotation a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and go to math here. And what we're going to do is pick that rotation that we have. So it's currently at 150. So let's just go 20 below and 20 above. So we'll do 130 and 170. So if we reset this now, we run it, and you can see as we move that, and then if we stop moving the mouse, it changes the rotation each time. Okay, so then the next thing we need to do is we also need to have a new variable. We need to have a variable that we're going to keep track of something. So we're going to drag out this one right here, and let's move it, call it mouse move count. Oops. Now this could be whatever you want it to be. I'm just going to keep it, whenever you name a variable, you should definitely make it relevant to what you're doing with this. So I mean, I could use the letter A, or do ABC or XYZ or something like that, but make sure this is kind of relevant. All right, and then we're going to set that to 0 to start out. Then what we're going to do is we're going to drag one of these down here inside the if, because we're going to have that go up by 1 each time. So we're going to call this mouse move count. And then what we want it to do is increase each time that the mouse moves. Okay, so what ends up happening is if the mouse moved, we're going to rotate it, and then the move count is going to go up by 1. So this first part here is we got to do mouse move count. So this will take the previous number that's in the variable, in this case there's 0, and it will add 1 to it. Okay? And then what we want to do is, it said there was a challenge. So this challenge, can you keep track of the times the mouse shakes the salt, and then rotate it right side up after 100 shakes. So then we need another conditional here. So that'll take care of this right here. And then let's make another if. And we want to say that if that is greater than or equal to they used 100. Well, then what we wanted to do is rotate so that it's just, we're going to drag the rotation here, and we're just going to say 0. Now, we need to do one other thing. So below the draw sprite here, we need to add some text so that it actually displays this for us. So let's go ahead and go to drawing. And we want it above or below the draw sprite because we want the sprite to be drawn. Then we're going to place this on here. So we're going to do, well, we need text. Now, the one thing you can do here is you can get rid of this and say whatever the mouse move count is, and then we need to give it a spot. So I'm gonna let's kind of place it down here. So we'll do 160 and then 310. And if that doesn't look good, we can always change it. Oh, we should do a text size here too in front of this. You always have to put that in front, and we'll say size 50. So now what should happen, when we move this mouse, it'll rotate randomly, and it will add to our move count. And then if our move count gets greater than 100 or equal to 100, then we're going to rotate the salt, and we're going to keep track of this right here and show you this. So let's go ahead and run. And there we go. And then it rotated, and it kept the rotation. Now our counter will still keep going, but that's okay. We don't need to change that at all. Okay. Hopefully that works for everybody, and good luck with your coding.